station. This is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Ready for the event.
MSNBC, this is Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is MSNBC. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Commander Kelly, I just want to start with, I understand you keep in close touch with your brother a couple times a day on email, with phone calls, on email constantly. What can you tell us about, first, how your brother's doing, how Congresswoman Giffords is doing since she has moved to Houston? I know there was some concern there. And how you're doing.
Well, I think my brother's doing about as well as anyone could expect in this type of a situation. I think he's dealing with it very well, and he's doing okay. He's a tough guy. Gabby, obviously this is a serious injury, and I only know what I hear from him, of course, and what I hear in the news. But she seems to be doing as well as you could expect too, considering the extent of her injuries. And likewise, I'm okay. It's a tough situation to be in on the space station with no way to get home to support your family members. But I understand that this is kind of the hand I'm dealt, so to speak, and I'm dealing with it as best as I think anyone could expect.
I'm guessing when you're up there with a small group of people like this for a long period of time, you become close, almost because there's nobody else around. So tell me the best Gabby story you've shared with your crewmates.
Well, I certainly share a little bit of the positive stuff with them that I hear from my brother, and when she does make small, strides every day, and they're certainly excited to hear that. Some of that's reported to the news media, but as far as particulars are concerned, I really can't elaborate. But I do share that with them, and they are definitely interested and concerned with the situation.
I think I didn't say the question the way I guess. How have you? What story from in the past that your relationship with the Congresswoman have you shared as a way for your crewmates to sort of know the Gabby Giffords you know?
Yeah, okay, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. And, some of them know her and have met her, and some of them, of course, have not. And she is really just an incredible woman, incredibly caring and dedicated to her job and to her constituents. And it's interesting that, it doesn't matter which party you're from with her or what your opinion is. If you, if she represents you, she represents, everybody, whether they voted for her or not, like her or not. And she's just really incredible in that way. She's a, an amazing public servant and, just such a kind person. It's really, a horrible tragedy that this happened, to her, not to mention the other people, young Christina and the other victims. It's really a terrible thing to have happened.
Commander, tonight's the State of the Union. There's going to be an empty seat saved for Congresswoman Giffords. We're seeing a lot of members of Congress decide they want to sit together, try to peel back some of the polarization and partisanship and the heated rhetoric that we've seen over the last couple of years. That's one lesson they're taking from this. What do you want to see as a citizen watching literally a million miles away? What do you want to hear from not just the president, but from the entire political community about the lessons they're taking away from this?
I'm really excited to hear about the, this kind of coming together in Congress. We have incredible challenges, to build a facility like the International Space Station. The things we do in space are incredibly challenging. And the way we can be successful at it is really due to teamwork. We need to find common ground with the people we work with, and we need to work as a team to be successful at stuff that is really, really difficult. And we have, of course, many challenges in our country, and I think we can overcome them through teamwork. So it's really encouraging for me to see that maybe of any good that can come out of something like this, maybe our ability to work together better is one of those things that can come out of it.
And Commander, this Friday is the 25th anniversary of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. I'm just curious if you could share sort of your thoughts, maybe where you were 25 years ago on January 28, 1986, and your thoughts on how the space program responded at the time and where it is today.
Yeah, on that day, I was actually in college, and it was lunchtime where I was, and I wasn't watching the launch, but as soon as I heard about it, I turned the television on, and I sat there, missed my classes for the rest of the day, following the the news events as they unfolded, and it, of course, was another incredible tragedy in our country. But, I think as Americans, we are, very resilient, and we're good at coming back from things like that. And, I think in the space shuttle program, we did come back from Challenger, and then later, when we were met with the tragedy of Columbia, we were able to, learn from our mistakes and move forward. And I think. That's the story of our space program. It's, meeting these great challenges. Occasionally, bad things happen, but we don't quit. We don't give up, and we continue to press forward. And I think the International Space Station is really a symbol of that. It's, an international effort, and it's really an incredible facility we've built here as a team, and I think our space program has a bright future as a result.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the MSNBC portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CNN.
Station, this is CNN. How do you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so much. We are 30 seconds back to air. You will be speaking with TJ and Kieran.
At about 10 minutes to the top of the hour now. So many of us in this country have been following the Tucson tragedy, but there's one man who has had to follow the tragedy of his family members from the International Space Station.
That's right, Commander Scott Kelly. He's been there since October. He is Mark Kelly's twin brother and the brother-in-law to Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords. And Commander Kelly joins us this morning. He is live from space on board the International Space Station. We just want to tell our viewers we are going to have a little delay, obviously, because we're talking to you and you're in space. But as we understand it, you've been able to talk to your brother a lot, up to 5 or 6 times a day. You guys can email, you can Skype. But I imagine it must be difficult for you hearing this news and then trying to get the latest updates on Gabby from space. What's it been like for you?
Well, it's it's certainly a horrible tragedy on so many levels. Not just with Gabby, but the other victims. A 9-year-old girl, Christina, and it's been tough, but I'm able to follow the news and talk to my brother and other friends and family members via telephone we have on board, and communicate with email, and actually watch watch the news. Actually, CNN is the way I've been following the news as it unfolds, and so I'm able to keep in touch, and I'm doing well with it. And I understand that in this type of situation, we all the people involved need to be strong and continue to do their best and. In kind of the situation they're in, and mine's here on the space station, and I understand that.
And Commander Kelly, if NASA had a way to send a vehicle up quickly, grab you, and bring you back to Earth to be with your family, would you want to do that, or do you think that Gabrielle Giffords and your brother would prefer for you to stay there and do your duty up on the International Space Station?
Well, I would prefer to be, able to support my brother and my family members in person, but, at the same time, I have a responsibility here, and I recognize that. We actually have a vehicle that we can bring, take back to Earth in an emergency, meaning an emergency on the space station with, some serious things such as a fire or a depressurization or a sick crew member. But that's not something we would ever use in a situation like this. So, I think they would want me to continue to do my duty, and that's here as the commander of the space station. And that's what I'm prepared to do.
Hats off to you, I imagine. I mean, just knowing that you're up there till mid-March and knowing what's going on down here with your family, hats off to you for being able to do what you're doing up there. It's also interesting that your twin brother is going to have to make a decision like this about his own fate when it comes to commanding that April 19th shuttle mission. As we heard, maybe in the next 2 weeks, he's going to be making a call as to whether or not he's going to command that or whether or not he's going to choose to stay back with Gabby. How hard is it going to be for your brother to make that call?
I'm not sure. It's certainly a very serious decision. There's a lot of considerations. He won't do it alone. He'll certainly discuss this with our leadership at NASA, with Gabby's family. I mean, he'll certainly consider what Gabby would want in this situation, and whatever he chooses, I'll certainly support him. With Gabby being in Houston, he could still be with her, while he trains during, in the mornings and in the evenings. So if he does choose to fly, it's not like, it would be different if she was, being treated somewhere else, but she is in Houston, so he could still be there to support her. Certainly not, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week like he's been doing, but, as she continues to progress, a different level of support on his part might be acceptable.
All right, Commander Kelly, we appreciate you taking the time out here with us. Certainly, this is fascinating that we are able to even talk to you, but a lot of people have been itching to hear from you as well. I know you'd like to be here, but congratulations on what you're doing up there, your duty up there, and our best to you and the rest of the crew up there on the International Space Station. Sir, you take care.
Thank you very much.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the CNN portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from CBS.
Yeah, hey, Commander Kelly, it's Jeff Glore in New York. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. I think we have quite a delay, but next time I speak with you, we'll be putting this on tape for real. So stand by.
In 3.
Commander Kelly joins us from the shuttle this morning. Let me try that one more stuff.
Here we go. In 3.
Commander Kelly, I know this has been very difficult for you. How are you doing up there?
I'm doing okay. Probably as best as you could expect in a situation like this. Certainly, there are, emotions involved, but, I understand that my place is here, doing my duties as a commander of the space station, and I'll continue to do that until it's time for me to come home.
How much information are you getting at this point? Is it from news reports, or is it from talking to the family, a combination of both?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. In the beginning, I was watching the news. The control center in Houston would send television news up to us on a fairly regular basis, and certainly I was talking to my brother a lot, and I still talk to him a lot. So mostly now, several weeks into this, after the tragedy occurred, most of the news I get is from my brother via the telephone, and also, reading some print media, and much less through the television news programs.
Commander, how's Mark doing right now?
I think he's doing probably as well as you could expect anyone to do in this type of situation. He's very, focused on, doing the best job he can to make sure Gabby gets the best recovery she can, and the best long-term outcome. And he's a strong person, and so I think he's doing pretty well.
You think he's still going to be able to command the final space mission here that he's scheduled for in a few months?
I think it's possible. He, has a lot of, considerations, and he'll do that with, consultation with our leadership at NASA, and other. I'm sure he'll get some other advice. Certainly, he'll probably talk to Gabby's family members, and also consider what she would want in this situation. So, I think it's a definite possibility. But, I personally, I don't have no idea which way he's gonna. This is going to go. So, I think we'll know more here in a couple of weeks.
Commander, finally, I know you're incredibly busy up there. I'm wondering how this, though, has kind of changed your day-to-day activities up in space at this point.
Well, it actually has, because, when we don't have a lot of spare time here, but the spare time I did have before the, this horrible tragedy, I spent, doing things that astronauts normally do in their spare time, mostly looking out the window and taking pictures of the Earth, and, educational and like public outreach kind of things. And now, much more of my spare time is consumed with, talking to my brother, talking to my kids, talking to other family and friends on the telephone we have here, and following the events as best I can. So it has changed certainly changed my life here aboard the space station, without a doubt.
All right, Commander Scott Kelly, can't imagine what this has been like for you or your family, but our thoughts are with you. Be well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, MSNBC, CNN, and CBS. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.